Right everyone, second take of this video, annoyingly, PS1 collection, as it says in the title. Yeah, that's annoying when you filmed a video and then it goes balls up. I had to stop filming. I was going to make a jump cut, but I've got a bit of an issue with if I do something with jump cuts and it all goes out of sync. So yeah, starting again. So I'm just gonna get through this as quick as possible, I think. So PlayStation 1, never had one back in the day. I was an N64 kid, but loads of my mates had PlayStation, and it's weird how much nostalgia I've got for a system that I never owned, but I suppose I was round the houses and you know, playing it and stuff. So just going to rattle through the games. So I bought the PS1. I've got the small, the PS1 ONE. Bought that 5 or 6 years ago. Started buying games. Games which I've started thinning out. I've sold a few on eBay, and there's a few more that are going to go as well. But the core of this is going to stay my collection moving forward. A couple more I'm still after as well. But yeah, thereabouts. So just going to rattle through the games again. So first up is music, and I must apologise because the lighting in here is pretty poor for videos. I'm going to have a little bit of a rethink, since I'm probably going to be staying in this house for a few more months than I had planned. So maybe videos need to be made somewhere else. But well, I mean, it's particularly annoying, you know, with these. Anything that's going to reflect. But anyway, let's just rattle through them. So yeah, got music. I do like sort of dabbling with music software and making my own stuff. So I'll definitely play this. I have actually got some nostalgia for this title as well. I just remember being dying to watch WWF one night as a kid on a Friday evening, Sky Sports. I'd been looking forward to watching that all day. I was with my cousin. We were going to sit and watch it on Sky Sports, and his brother-in-law was around, and he had the PlayStation set up downstairs, and he was playing this. I got to watch about the last half hour of wrestling, and I was seething. I was well pissed off, but you know, 9 times out of 10 I just sat and got involved. But I was just a kid. That's my excuse for having a sulk, and I'm sticking to it. Right, next up. Now, this is a game that I unashamedly bought. I bought it quite cheap, so it's I sort of justify it that way. I just bought it for the blue spine. So it's obviously, as you can see, Total NBA 97. And the cover as well. It's like a rubber front to this game, like a basketball. So I'm an NBA Jam player all day. I've never really got into another basketball game, but I just wanted this for the curiosity that is the blue spine. And I saw this, I used to see this on some of Tootie's old videos when he had the PlayStation stuff behind him, and that used to catch my eye quite a bit. So I picked that up cheap. I will give it a go, but yeah, if I'm playing basketball, it's going to be NBA Jam. Next up, the next 4 games I got in a bundle. 5 or 6 years ago, when I started really buying heavily, or rebuying in a lot of cases. Paid, so for this and the next 3, I paid around 40-45 quid for this. It's not mint, but it's in the 4 of them aren't mint, but they're in decent enough condition, and I'd be paying a lot more for them now. I think I might even be paying the best part of what I paid for the bundle just on this one alone now. So it's Resident Evil Survivor. I haven't played it. Fan of the franchise, but I've not played this one yet. But I will give it a go. I think this one, I'm not sure if this one's compatible with the light gun or not. Don't know, not played it. But happy to have it, and I will stick some time into that. My excuse always is that I've only got one console set up, one retro console anyway, so everything else gets put away. So it's not easy to dip into stuff. But anyway, next up is Resi 3. this is probably my least favourite out of the first 3 Resi games, but still, you're splitting hairs. It's still a classic, and I really like the remake as well. Yeah, I won't go around the front, sides and back for all of them because we'll be here all day, but yeah, it's an absolute classic. There's nothing that I need to say about Resident Evil that anyone watching this video doesn't already know. So next up is Resident Evil 2. I'm playing again. Big fan of the remake. I'm a big fan of all the remakes. I'm just playing this through again now on Xbox, the remake, so that I can unlock a few more achievements. Always good to go back to. Then obviously up next is Resident Evil 1, the one that started it all. Oddly enough, I've not actually played the PlayStation version of Resi 1. It's gone in and I've tested it and stuff. I've not actually played it. The first Resident Evil game and the first version of Resi 1 that I played was on the GameCube. But I definitely would like to go back and play the game that started it all. Maybe I'll hang tight until I can get the director's cut, but we'll see. Next is a game that I don't think I've played it. Maybe I had a little dabble on the PC, but it's Command and Conquer. Now, I don't know who will believe me when I tell you that I actually sorted this out in the Platinum Edition, because I just didn't have. I had one Platinum game in a little 2-piece bundle that I bought off a mate, and it just looked odd on its own. I just thought, you know what? Next couple of games I'm going to get them Platinum, and it saved me some money as well. But it's just a weird thing. It's like I like a couple of games. I like to have a couple of Master System games without the hanging tab, because that's what I had as a kid. I've ripped the hanging tabs off them all. So to have a couple with the hanging tab off is quite nostalgic. And again, it saves a few quid. So anyway, back to PS1. Next up, Silent Hill. I've played it, but I've not completed it. I've played and completed 2 and 3. Not on the PS2 though. I played them on the Xbox 360 on the HD remake. So I'm really looking forward to going back and giving this one a whirl. Really shot up in price the last couple of years. This one is complete. I've got, they're all in these little sleeves. There's the manual, and this has got, I think there's like 3 things in here. This one, do you know what? Let's not be lazy. Let's just take them out. I'm not 100% certain that this is 100% complete, but I think it is. I think so. So don't hold me to it. But if you're after a complete version of this game, as far as I'm aware, you need obviously the manual, a Konami leaflet, a Konami catalogue, and a Silent Hill product catalogue. Which is pretty nice. So yeah, I've got this. I was seeing this in this condition, and it is in good nick, complete as it is, starting at 100 quid, sometimes quite north of that. So I've just bided my time for quite a while, and eventually found a seller. Got it for about the £70 mark. A really nice seller. Stayed in contact with him for a bit afterwards, and actually he watches a bit of the tubes. He not a massive watcher of the tubes, but he knew a couple of people, and I sent him a link, and he may or may not have watched a couple of my videos. But if you're watching, thanks again, mate. So that is yep, that is Silent Hill. Back later. Yeah, just really glad to have it, and I will definitely sit and play that. I used to get quite annoyed when I played the the 2 and 3 remake, the Fog, but I'll just accept it as part of the game now. Right, next up is Medal of Honor. So I played this franchise of shooters on the PC, Pacific Warfare I think it was, years ago. I don't know, 15, 16 years ago. This is another one of the games that comes highly recommended by Pete, says Tastic. So I dipped in and picked this up, I don't know, just over a year ago now. And I actually played this over Christmas. I think I completed the first act, which was made up of 3 levels. So I've just got memories of sitting. It's funny how you create new memories as well as dipping into nostalgia, but this just reminds me of last Christmas and sitting in this room playing through this, having a drink over Christmas. So I dare say I will do the same again this year and see if I can get a bit further. So yeah, that is Medal of Honor. It's obviously not aged particularly well, but there is still a playability about it, and yeah, it's alright. So yeah, that's Medal of Honor. Next is a game that I bought for my missus actually, and I've not played it and never really was a big fan, because by the time of this generation of consoles, I'd kind of moved away from 2D. But it's Rayman. We did play a bit of Rayman Legends on, I think we played it on my Xbox One, and it's a game that I can play with her. This is only 1 player, but I got it anyway, so she can sit and play that. And as I said, I just wanted a couple more platinum games in the collection, and this was one. So that is Rayman. Next is a football game, and it is, ISS Pro Evolution 2. So I'm on the hunt for, I've said this in quite a few videos, so apologies if I'm starting to repeat myself, but I'm after like the go-to football game, the game that I want to, if I think I'm going to stick on a football game in an old system, I'm just on the hunt to see what my sort of go-to is. This is quite good. I've only played a few matches with it, so I wouldn't say too much more about it at this point. It's got a big reputation on the system as the best football game that came out to this point. So yeah, I'll stick a few more. I'll have a game of this. When my mate comes around, he still loves his old football games. We'll play some 2-player and see how we get on. Next is a game that I've got nostalgia for, but I can't place where. It might just be because I watched it on telly, but it's Celebrity Deathmatch. I might have had a few goes of this around someone's house. I can't remember, but I remember watching it a little bit on MTV, late 90s, particularly when people that I liked were represented on the show. But I don't know how the game plays because I'm yet to play it. So yep, say no more about that. But it was a cheapie, and I just thought, why not? Right, next is WCW versus the World. Now, I'm a big believer that the home of wrestling games is on the N64, with the 2 WCW games and the 2 WWF games. So WCW NWO World Tour and Revenge, Wrestlemania 2000, and WWF No Mercy. Now this is made, I believe, by, well, it's THQ, but I think that might have just been the publishers. But I believe this is the same developers, and it's the same engine, and it plays similarly. But obviously, it's an early sort of it's an early version of that style of game. So I saw this out in the wild, I think, and I grabbed it. But I'm glad to have it, and I'll definitely dip into it and play it and see if it's anything like those N64 games that I just put so many hours into, and me and my mates absolutely hammered. And next is another wrestling game, and it is Wrestlemania the Arcade game. I think this is the best home console version of the game. It's pretty difficult. There's a learning curve. It's more like a fighting game. Plays more like Mortal Kombat or something than a typical wrestling game. But it's well over the top, very arcadey. Quite a depth to the game as well, from what I've read. So I asked for this for a birthday present one year, and I got it. And I've played a few matches, but I've been put off by just such a steep learning curve. I think as well. I think if you're a fan of fighting games, you probably get a lot out of this because, as I say, it's just not in the style of a typical wrestling game. But yeah, when I've got a bit more space and I can set more consoles up, I'll definitely sort of dip into this a bit more than I have. Right, next is a series of games, starting with Track and Field 2, and the one I've played the most, the original International Track and Field. So I've had versions of this game across several systems, but of Track and Field. But I think the PS1 versions are the best, because if you take that original PS1 pad without the thumbsticks, without the dual shock, not only are they cheap to buy, but they are ideal for absolutely hammering, because it's a complete button basher of a game. And I've got a bit of a problem with on other systems like the N64, for instance. I just don't think the pads are up to that sort of abuse, and they're also more expensive to buy. So you can get them original PS1 pads for two quid if you see them out in CEX or whatever. So I've stocked up on a load of them, and yeah, they're just for me to bash the shit out of them, really, when we're playing Track and Field. Next up, so I bought these two in a little bundle off a mate. Micro Machines V3. Played this more on the Mega Drive, this game, Micro Machines, but I definitely will dip into that because it's quite a fun little multiplayer game. Obviously, you're racing around and trying to stay on the track, and it's quite. Yeah, it's quite entertaining, that game, so glad to have that. And the other one, which I took a bit of a punt on, is Cool Borders 2. So bought these two off my mate. I think I gave him a tenner for the pair of these. It's got quite a big reputation, but from the limited time I've put into it, it doesn't really live up to it, just in my opinion. There's something about it that keeps me going back, so I think I will end up putting this back on. But yeah, I think there are better snowboarding games, and not to say I'm not really a big fan of snowboarding games, to be honest, so maybe I'm not the best judge of them. I actually have been snowboarding in real life a few times, and I'm actually going next year, fingers crossed with the way things are. So yeah, next game is, right, so we've got NBA Jam Tournament Edition. I actually just prefer the original version of NBA Jam on the Super Nintendo, but I think this is a good, very good port of the Tournament Edition, so I wanted to grab that. I find it quite tricky playing it on the PlayStation because I'm so used to the SNES pad, but yeah, glad to have that. Right, next is a game that was recommended to me by a mate of mine, and it's Twisted Metal World Tour. I think this is Twisted Metal 2 in the US. I'm not too sure. He just was raving about this game, so I ended up picking it up a few years ago so we could sit and play it. Had a couple of games, not really got to grips with the game just yet. It's I think usually, if I'm going to play like a racing sort of battle type game, then it's probably going to be like a Mario Kart, but definitely up for putting some more time into that and finding out what all the fuss is about. Right, next is Metal Slug X. I assume that is Metal Slug X and not Metal Slug 10. I'm not too sure. Really good conversion of the game, and me and the missus sat and played this a few weekends ago and got to the end and completed it. So I was well happy with that. Just, it's that typical over the top run and gun. Yeah, good stuff. Enjoyed that. That's a title that's also creeping up in price, but I mean, for the most part, aren't they all? Right, we're getting there. Last few. So, GTA 2. If I'm being honest, I'm not a massive fan of the top-down GTAs. I didn't really play them at the time. I'm well into the 3D stuff, but not so much the old stuff. But jumping ahead, years and years and years and years ago, I very randomly picked this up out of a charity shop. When I weren't sort of collecting and didn't have a PlayStation, just saw it and probably paid £1 for it or whatever. It's the value series. So when I started collecting and playing this old stuff again a few years ago, then I wanted to complete the set. So, yep, bought GTA 2 and GTA London as well, which is the this is an expansion pack, isn't it? I think, yeah, mission pack. You can buy it as a standalone as well, but do you know, I'm not too sure, so I'm going to say no more. But yeah, the GTA series. I've had a little go of them all, and I suppose it's all right. It could grow on me, but I'm just so used to, you know, the 3D GTAs. It's I found it quite difficult going back. But look, when things are different, and I will keep leaning on this excuse. When things are different, I've got more console set up. Then all bets are off. I'll be able to play more. Might start appreciating a few games when I can sort of dip into them. So we'll see. We'll see. Next up is Metal Gear Solid. Now this is just, you know, as a lad at school, I was well aware that this was just a legendary game. I've never been able to get into Metal Gear Solid. I had 2 and 3 on the PS2. I just didn't have the patience for them. But I did pick this up a few years ago. I really would like to give it every chance in the world to grow on me and stuff, and I'll persevere with it a few more times. I've had a little go, and I'm sure everyone's, you know, well aware that you're not just gonna. This isn't a pick up and play. You need to learn the game and stuff, and I will do it. I'll give it a chance. So I'm keeping hold of this for now. But as I said, there are some games that that potentially could be moved on out of this lot. Now the next lot, I've left them in right. All my PS1 games are in the box protectors, the My Game Vault box protectors. Now I've taken that lot out so that I thought that there might be, you know, less glare if I took them out. But I just wanted to leave this lot in to show you how good it is to have all your PS1 in these box protectors, because we all know how fragile the game boxes are. And it just gives you. I know it's expensive to. I mean, for people that have got massive collections, it's gonna get very expensive to get them all in boxes. But I would say get your most valuable, your most sort of favourite ones in these boxes, because I don't know if this picture's gonna do it justice, but it displays well. They're a great fit, as all the products are from My Game Vault, and yeah, they do it for the double discers as well. They're really good. I think they're a really good investment for what I consider like a very fragile game case. And it's the same with the Dreamcast. I've got all mine in these boxes as well. So this is the last handful of games. Final Fantasy VII, I got so far into that and got stuck. Well, no, I didn't get stuck. I got bored. I've picked it up again since for the Switch, so I'm considering letting this go. It's in good nick, so could should get a few quid for that. Destruction Derby 2, game with a big reputation, so I picked it up. But I think I'm probably going to stick to Twisted Metal if I'm going to play this type of game. And then these 4, it's all fodder, isn't it? This all came with this all came when I bought my PS1. These titles. So, and it was all everything was in such good condition. The console came unboxed. It was just a console with a pad and these 4 games, but it's all in like superb nick. And the fact that these were the games that he sent off, I just wondered if it was like a very casual gamer that I bought these off. You know, don't mean to insult anyone who wants to be a millionaire and stuff, but yeah, it just struck me that it was a very casual gamer that sold me my little bundle. So getting on for, yeah, got north for 25 minutes. So that's it. That's the PS1 collection, minus a few that I've picked up at car boots that aren't in the best nick. I'll show them in another video, like a bit of a in the wild / car boot subset. But yeah, that's PS1. Let's call that a video. Next up is going to be a long one. It's going to be my N64 collection. Just got a lot more sort of stories to tell, and not necessarily more games, just a lot more nostalgia for that system, so it's potentially going to be a pretty long one. So yeah, that's up next. So yeah, going to leave it there. So if you've watched this through, then thanks a lot. And hope if this is the last video that I put out this year, then I hope everyone has a good Christmas and a good New Year. And I'll see you on the next one. Cheers.